Good morning. It is January 14th, 2026, and I'm Lisa. Welcome back to my kitchen. This is part 2. I just am in the middle of making a video for some, what did I call it? Creamy coconut curry lentils. I usually just call it lentils with coconut and curry, but you know, something a little fancy. It's creamy, so I needed to describe it a little better. And to go with that, I am wanting a flatbread. Have you ever run out of bread and you needed to make sandwiches for your kids for school, for peanut butter and jelly? You can make a flatbread. That flatbread also goes really well with this curry. It doesn't take very long. It's made on the stove. There's no waiting. You can have it done in 20 minutes. Okay, let's get going. Okay, what we need for this flatbread is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I think I have enough here, but I'm not sure, so I brought out my bag. A teaspoon of salt, and this is how I store mine. 3/4 cup of warm water, and some oil for the pan, and this can be any oil. Okay, so we're going to measure out the 2 cups. Well, I guess you're going to need a bowl and some measuring spoons. Let me measure out 2 cups of flour. The last dregs of it. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, we made it. Okay. We've got 2 cups of flour. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And mix these together. Fingers are fine. And then we're going to add the water and 2 tablespoons of oil. Plus more for cooking. So this is a 2 tablespoon measure. Mix, and it's going to be forming a shaggy dough, and then we'll knead it on a lightly floured surface for 3 to 4 minutes until smooth. I had to pause for a minute to go stir my lentils. And that's a shaggy dough. It's not very smooth. You'll see it better when I dump it out. just a little bit of flour on the surface. We're going to dump it out and knead it for, what did it say? 3 to 4 minutes. Then we'll cover and let rest for 10 minutes. It's a little sticky, but not so bad that it's sticking to my hands, really. See? And if you need a little more flour on the table, go ahead and get it. If that's kind of sticky right there. You don't have to be an expert kneader. You don't have to have strong hands. This isn't a strong dough. It's not going to be like rolling out bread dough or kneading bread dough, I mean. This is fairly easy. It's becoming a lot smoother as I knead it. A little more flour. Kevin, will you stir those lentils? Thank you. Okay, that feels good. It's very put together, and then I put it back in my bowl. No need to wash it, and then I'm going to cover it actually with a wet towel. I found that sometimes that keeps your dough moister while you're letting it rise. I know this isn't a dough that rises, but I still like to keep the extra moisture in. This is just an old washcloth. Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes and our dough has sat. The next step is to divide it out into 6 to 8 pieces. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to roll it out 6 to 7 inches. This small plate is a little more than 7 inches, but roughly a small sandwich plate size. So let's get to it. Okay. Let's try to divide it. That's 2. That's 4. Six. And 8. Doesn't have to be perfect, just about that size. The rest of these I'm going to stick back into the bowl. I'm going to put the wet towel back over top and do these one at a time. Okay, it's easiest to make it into a ball, kind of a ball. A little bit of flour. And if they're perfectly round, they don't look homemade, so you don't want them to be perfect. You want them to be authentic and made with good ingredients. Closer. A little bigger. Okay, so a little smaller than that, but this will be fine. Okay, and then the next one. That's it flat. If it starts to stick, add a little more flour. Flip it every now and again into the flour to keep that from sticking. That's got a little sticky spot. And I'm just stacking them up on that plate. And I'm not putting it in all that flour. I'm just using it, the edges of it. I just want a little flour over here, but I know I'm gonna need it, so I'm bringing it out. That one looks a little too little. Let's try that again. Better. And if you like recipes that use dough, let me know in the comments, and I have a lot more. One of the things I would like to show you at some point is how to do a galette, which is a rustic dough. And it's like an inverted pot pie, maybe. Almost done. 2 more after this. Last one. Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to cook these. Okay, I've got my lentils that are almost finished over here. We just need to get this pan heated for the flatbread. It's kind of thick. If you don't like it this thick, feel free to add a little more water. If you have too much water, take the lid off and cook it off. Okay, let's see how this is doing. This is a dry pan, no oil. The oil is to brush on top later if we feel like we wanted it. I think it should have been warmer. It'll get there. So we cook each flatbread for 1 to 2 minutes per side until they're puffed and golden brown spots appear on it. And then we brush lightly with oil if desired, or you can do butter. It says to keep wrapped in a clean towel until serving. That probably holds the heat. So and I switched sides of the burner because this burner doesn't work very well. So the lentils are pretty much done. I'm just kind of keeping them warm over here at this point. This is still coming to temperature. And I can see it getting darker brown, it's kind of browning on the underside because this white part on top is starting to slowly disappear, like it's walking away. No brown spots yet. But it is starting to puff right there. I don't know if you can see that in the video. I've got a puff here and I have a puff right there. It's starting to puff right there and right here. This one's getting pretty big. Very, very lightly brown. I'm going to leave it a little more. I must have a hotter spot on my stove here than I do over here. We will turn that some. I don't want it to burn. It's such a pretty, oh, but there it's puffing up right there. This is why I prefer gas, but I have electric. Okay, look at how pretty brown that is. think I'm going to get much more brown because the bubbles are what it's browning. Like the center isn't touching unless I push it down. But if you have a salad and you want to wrap, this is a really good bread for that. Like I said, if you want to put peanut butter and jelly on this, fold it in half, you've got a sandwich for a kid for school. Yeah, that's starting to get too brown, so I'm going to stop there. And put on the next one. And they're much faster than making a loaf of bread. They're very tasty. They said you could brush with oil. I am going to. They is Claude AI. That's who they is. That's where I got this recipe. I said what I wanted to do. I asked it. I have these ingredients. This is what I want to do. Give me a recipe. It gave me one with pretty much the same thing, just adding some vegetable broth. I didn't want vegetable broth. I wanted more of a dal type of thing. This is puffing beautifully. Look at that go. So get your pan a little hotter. Look at that. Okay, we'll flip it over. And I have this on medium-high heat. No, take that back. I have it on medium. On mine, the number is 5. It goes up to 10. And when I take it off of the heat, it's going to all sink back down flat. See it deflate? Okay, let's stick it under here. Got a little flour that will burn. I'm going to scrape that out, clean it up. I'll clean it up after I'm done. There's the next one. Crush a little butter. If you haven't seen the previous video on how to make those lentils, I recommend you go and watch that. My kitchen smells amazing. It's not burning. Yes, a little bit. I'm going to turn my heat down to 4, maybe 3.5. Because a little bit of char is okay, but I don't want it burnt. If you haven't already, you're welcome to speed through any part of this video. You won't hurt my feelings at all. This might feel like washing paint dry. You notice with the heat turned down, it's not coming up as fast. It's already browning pretty much. Okay, we're gonna flip it anyway. This side looks like that didn't cook as well. Flip it over and get that part. Okay, that looks better. Turn my heat up back to a solid 4. spots that I can tell didn't cook well. I've turned the heat up again. And go back to the side. That does not look down on the other side yet. This spot right here needs to cook a little more. Okay, there, those little spots cooked. I want to butter the other one. I want to do that. Okay, let's get this one on. And I'll butter both of those. Whoops. That's why your handles are supposed to be off to the sides or in the back, not out at you. Okay, so let the butter. This one a little is hot. So if you have like flavored oils, if you've infused with some oil with maybe some basil or some garlic, you could brush that on here and that would be delicious too. Don't think you just have to do plain oil or butter. You can also do nothing. This is your kitchen when you do it. So whatever you do is okay. The ones at the bottom are starting to stick on the plate, so it's a little extra peeling them off. But that's okay, they still will taste just fine. I want that spot to be cooked a little more. Good. 2 more to go. I guess a good way to measure them would be don't go bigger than the base of your skillet, because mine's going up the side some. Unless you have cast iron, which would heat evenly all the way through. And I do, but it's really heavy to get out, so I just have this cheap pan from Walmart. Oops. That one one doesn't smell as good. I can smell the burnt. So don't be planning on doing anything else, even stirring a pot of beans here. I still have a couple spots on here that this one won't be the best one. Last one. And I'll butter those two. It turns around. You can see this big part didn't cook yet. I'll have to turn it back around. And I'm just pressing them down to force them to cook. You can see they've already now turned brown right there. This part can do a little bit more. Yep, now they're cooked. Okay, and that's it. This is your flatbread. So if you've started watching this one first, go back and watch to see how those lentils are made. They're absolutely delicious. They've been one of my favorites for, gosh, 30 years. I love lentils. Okay. Okay, I've got my fresh lentils, my cooked lentils. They're steaming hot. I've got my flatbread. So easy to do. Let's try this one first. That's good. The only thing I would change was more butter. So I'm sure where this is traditional in the Middle East, they don't use a spoon and scoop it up. They just scoop it with the bread. But I'm not that girl. This was heaven. I did want to say, you don't have to use the entire packet of lentils. If you just want to try it, try just maybe a cup of it and cook it and see how you like them. I would still do it in coconut and curry though, because that's my favorite way. But I've also turned this into patties before and made like burgers. There are some recipes in the Dropbox that have a patty as one of the recipes. I forget what else I did, but they're good. This is my lunch, probably my dinner. You can do this. Hang in there.